Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. I'm Laura, also known as Lala, and this is episode 585, and I did out of order.
She did. I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is the 22nd of August, 2022. It's happy birthday to my younger sister who is 38
Aww.
today.
Wow.
She's celebrating her birthday by trying to figure out what is broken on her car. So,
that's a
exciting.
fun game.
Yay, adulthood.
Hank's birthday.
Yeah. Yes, Laura and I both use the she, her pronouns. And hopefully there won't be too much noise today. We have the dog in here with us. And she's feeling very betrayed because Michael, we adopted a new dog.
You are the great betrayer.
And it's a Whippet mix, which is what we had
Buff.
before. But Buffy is a very old lady, and
it's so sad.
the new dog is a very young dog who wants to play and to be in your face, and Buffy is not cool with that. So we're doing,
Buffy and I are the same person.
carefully monitored introductions and exposure, and they're getting used to each other.
I don't like it when young things get in my face either, Buffy.
So, yeah, she's been hanging out with me most of the day. I have very little to show. I do have some other sewed things. I'll grab those in a second. But you have some stuff. What are you working on? You're swatching, right?
I'm swatching. So I am swatching for Shoulder Season, which is by Sheena Lance Designs. I am going to test knit it for her as soon as my yarn gets here from Jude. But I already had part of the yarn, so I am swatching with the part that I have. So I am knitting on size 3 needles, a teeny tiny 6-inch swatch out of Stranded Dye Works Merino Nylon in the Antagonist colorway.
Fitting.
Yep. And it is looking...
So is this, I know
like
Sheena Lance
this.
frequently does like color mixes in her designs. Is this a solid?
It's, so the shoulder, there's a shoulder detail that is a different color, or it can be a different color. And then, the rest of the sweater is one color.
Okay.
So, I'm looking to probably use, for my size, around 4 skeins of one color, and then it's basically mini skeins, like 100 yards of another. And yeah, and part of that is I could get away with 3 skeins probably, but I am intending to add a couple inches of length because I always add a couple inches.
Well, even on regular sweaters, like
length,
regular length sweaters, you add length because your torso is very long.
Yep, I added length to the sweater I'm wearing today, and this is a crop sweater. So, yep. And I'll talk about more what I'm wearing in a second. And then the second thing that I have on the needle, so this is my little swatch. So I always cast on the required stitches for 4 inches, and then I add another 2 inches because, things tend to roll. And I like big swatches, and I cannot lie. Alright, and then the other thing that I am actively working on is a sock. And it only got a little bit of work this week. It was on the brown before, and now we've moved up to the orange. But I have around ½ an inch to go, and then I will start the heel increases for the gusset. This is on size 1 needles. It is a sport weight sock yarn by Rockin' String. It's their Jitterbug Sport in the Meow colorway. So I am hoping to get a heel on this by the next time I see y'all. We'll see. It's kind of the lives in my backpack knitting. So sometimes it gets a little bit of work on it. Like Leslie and I went to a new bakery, which sadly was not very good.
Yeah.
My cheesecake was very dry.
Mine was too. The lemon curd on top of it was amazing.
Oh.
But the cheesecake itself was
yeah,
not ideal. But, we wanted to try out a new local business. So.
Yep. So that was not amazing, but while we were waiting for our food, because we got sandwiches there, I was knitting a smidge as I ate some voodoo chips. So, some voodoo kettle chips. So, yeah. That is it for me for works in progress. I will probably have at least one project, maybe two new ones to show next week, though.
I will have one new one because Steph decided on the color combo.
Oh, fun! I can't wait to see.
So I'm going to cast on that sweater sometime this week.
What are you? Well, you have the swatches for that to show, right?
Yeah, I showed them last week, but I'll probably grab
I thought
them.
you added a new one.
I did, but it's not what she decided on.
Okay. I like the new one.
She liked the green one, so I'll grab that in a second. So, I'm knitting on a couple of things. The first is Shawl That Jazz, which you guys haven't seen in a couple weeks, because it was just living up here on top of that bin right there. So this is knit out of Miss Babs Yowza, which is a 560-yard skein. And I just started the second skein. That was my goal, was to get to the second skein. And literally like 2 rows ago I did that. So it's taking forever because you cast on, I don't know, 1,000,000 stitches. I think it's almost 300. And then you do short rows by 1 stitch on each side for years and years.
So you're slowly increasing out.
Yeah, so you're slowly increasing in depth, but you're making it narrower, right? Because you start out, you cast on all the stitches.
I see. I thought you were going wider.
No.
Okay, you're going narrower.
You're going narrower.
So it makes a crescent shape.
Yes.
Okay.
Until there's like 94 stitches in the middle, and then it's like every 2 for a while, something like that. So I'm down to the point where I've got 9 stitches on either side of my middle marker, and then it should speed up quite significantly, and then I'll have to go and pick up all of the wrapped stitches. Although it's not truly wrapped, I use a German short row instead.
It's yarn over, right?
No, it's just you just yank the stitch.
Oh, that's right. You make it into a double stitch.
A double, yeah. So
Gotcha.
It's very noticeable because a couple times I haven't been paying attention, and if I'm knitting garter, I don't have to look at it, right? Because you're just knitting and you flip, and then assuming you're knitting flat. So I don't have to pay attention. And I watched Love on the Spectrum this week. Great, recommend it highly. I'm not a typical like romance reality TV person. I have no interest in like The Bachelor or any of that stuff. But this was really, I feel like they treated the people with autism with respect and dignity during the process, and it shows them dating and like the awkward social situations that they have to navigate. And of course everyone on the spectrum is different, and this isn't a like one size fits all thing, but it is a very like, there are a lot of things I had never thought about, and so I felt like I learned things. Anyway, this is taking forever, but it's going to be giant and super comfy when it's done. I do not know who it's going to go to. We'll see. But yeah, so I just started on the second skein, and I don't know how much progress I'll make on it. Oh, I was going to say, I know why I started that whole conversation about watching Love on the Spectrum. It's because I was knitting in garter, and when I got to one of my my German short row stitches, like it's very, you can feel the difference when you try to knit into that stitch. So it was very like, breaks.
Instead of a traditional wrap stitch, which is kind of easy to just go
depending
around.
on how tight you knit. Like if you strangle that stitch real tight, you might notice. But anyway, this is living in my one of the 2 bags I got from Amy Beth at SSK this year. This is so ridiculous that I had to buy it. And it's like Victorian or Edwardian, like, dressed birds. It's so insane.
It's just funny.
That I absolutely had to purchase it. So, yeah, so that's the first thing I've been working on. And then the second thing, I haven't done a ton, but it's the Sprinkled with Kindness shawl, and this is by...
Oh, your yarn for that's on its way.
Okay, yeah, I got plenty of time. This one is by Callie Monster, and it's a triangular shawl, but you do it in 2 different halves. So the first half was this garter, sort of long, skinny triangle, and then you pick up with the Surrey alpaca, or mohair is what it's written as, blends, And I really like knitting with the mohair alpaca blend, or the alpaca suri blend, but the stitch, like the repeat, is knit 3 together and then make 3 in one stitch all the way across the row. And it's so, like, it's kind of tricky in this yarn because it's kind of fuzzy and you can't really see
Yeah,
the
it would be
stitch.
fuzzy in the mohair though too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not specific to this, it's just not the ideal stitch for this particular fuzziness. But I do like the pattern that it's creating, so this will be more of a long-term project. Like, I'll try to get in
A couple of rows a week, maybe.
Right.
Gotcha.
a bit here and there when I need a break. So,
It's very pretty.
but yeah, so this is out of Spotted Circus in her Shadow colorway, in both the Merino Nylon blend and then the Alpaca Suri blend. So, and that is unceremoniously being crammed into a Tom Bin bag that is not actually meant for knitting, I don't believe, but
Yeah, it's a stuff sack.
is it? Okay.
Uh-huh.
I know they sell stuff that's not specific to
Yeah, but that is.
fibercraft. So, yep. And then Ashley sent me a link for a sweater that I might knit at some point.
Ooh, what is it?
I'll have to find it. I don't know why I brought it up if I don't have it ready to talk about. But it's a pretty pullover.
Oh, fun.
Alright, so let me grab this. And then where's the other one of these? Gotta fix that buttonhole.
Oh, okay.
That's a finished thing. So this is the color, the light on the dark, I think is what she wanted. I have to go back and check. It's one of these two.
Okay.
The green, which is the wait and see.
Mm-hmm. That you just
That
did.
I just got the sweater's worth of it for myself
Mm-hmm.
in exchange for the other sweater. So, yeah, I think it was the light on the dark. I believe that's what she said. I'll have to go back and look. But, yeah, so I'll be casting that on. It's the pattern is Inflorescence. And it's not your traditional fair owl. It's you carry the yarn in the front, and that's what makes the pattern. So
That's fun.
it's cool. Do you have any finished? Oh yes, you
I
do.
do. I just do.
Why? Thank you for asking.
So I did finish my love note, and I'm wearing it. Some modifications that I made to this. Well, first off, I knit this on size 8 needles for the body, 6 for the ribbing, and it is
Just got one snag. Little.
oh, okay.
It's okay. I'll fix it. You keep talking.
Okay. It is out of Neighborhood Fiber Company Studio Sock in the Fair Fight colorway, which was the Stacey Abrams colorway, and Surrey Alpaca Silk Lace by Stranded in the Blue Rinse colorway. I used 3 skeins, approximately, of the Surrey, and 2 skeins, and then 10 grams of the third of the Neighborhood Fiber Company, which I believe is 400 yards. So if I had picked something with a little bit more yardage,
Like 420 or
yeah, I would have been able probably to get it out of 2 skeins. Some changes that I made. I did not do a provisional cast on up here. I just picked up the stitches on the collar instead of having them on a provisional cast on, because it's easy for me to pick up cast on stitches. I added 2 inches of length to the total pullover, so it is a little bit longer. But
and you
I
added
am
that under the arm.
yeah,
Okay.
but I am a little bit taller. I had tried on 3 different ones of these at SSK, and so I knew approximately how much to add. I actually shortened the sleeves. So the sleeves are 2 inches approximately shorter than what the pattern calls for. And I increased the ribbing depth on everything because it calls for around 1 inch less ribbing than what I did. So it calls for around a 1/2 inch. What else did I change? I think that's about it. I did the short rows as written after I did it correctly. I think because I had cast this on like 2 days before I got COVID, and then we had SSK, I think this is a project that you could definitely knit in a couple weeks easily, instead of
Presuming you have time every day.
yeah, instead of the 2 months that it took me, because I did use around 850 yards approximately. So it's definitely doable on that larger needle gauge. I'm definitely, I think, going to knit it again. I'm going to see how it wears. I'm kind of at a point in my life where I am knitting garments for me that I can, or pieces for me that are wearable in my wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
So, while, and some people have been asking about the Even Star, while the Even Star is gorgeous, it's not something that I can wear to work. On a daily basis or kind of ever.
Yeah, if you want it to come home in the same condition
Yes.
that it leaves the house in.
Maybe I could wear it to the 8th grade formal, but that's a big maybe. So it's just not something that, and I don't use super fancy lace shawls, circular
You'll get
lace
a
shawls.
Random bug up your butt at some point.
Yeah, but I'll still finish it. I had to buy some needles this week because the needles that I needed were actually in the Even Star. So, for my size 3 signatures, and I don't have size 3s in my life.
Oh, I could have given you. Mine are all sorted in little bins.
I know they are.
Most of them. Unless I've used them since then, at which point I have not put them back.
Yeah. So, I really like this FO. This is my 4th sweater of the year. So my goal for this year was 6 total sweaters, and I think I'm going to hit that, if not more. So that's one every 2 months. So I'm really happy with it. It's just like a very cozy hug. And I have mohair for the next one from my stash. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
So fancy.
I don't know about that. It's just that little bit of lace detail, and the rest is stockinette. So it's a pretty great knit, and it's sized very, very well.
Yeah, tin can knits are generally pretty good about their sizing, and it generally will go from like newborn all the way up to...
I was gonna say, if you want to try it before you knit a full-size garment, it is sized for children's sizes as well. It makes a great like matchy sweater too.
Yeah,
like if you want to
like
match with,
for
some reason you can totally match with a lot of their pieces. So yeah, super happy. But you have some finished objects as well.
Yeah, to be fair, they're not 100% finished, but you're not going to see them again. So my younger sister has an ostomy bag and has for
a long time,
20 years probably, somewhere around there. Coming up on 20 years. And every now and then she wants more covers for the, so the ostomy bag is a plastic bag. This covers the plastic bag and helps, keep her skin from being irritated and stuff like that. So
helps keep from chafing.
Yeah, it's like a colostomy bag, but it's higher. The digestive tract ends sooner. It's on the small intestine versus the large intestine, I believe, is the difference, but I could be completely wrong. So this is like the back. This is the side that would face outward. This is the side that would face her skin. So I do little buttonholes because there's a strap that goes to help carry the weight. So I just do a little buttonhole here, and then I'm going to put snaps in down here so that she can fold it up so it doesn't hang quite as low. So I did one out of a woven fabric. These are all just scraps that I had sitting around.
It's a good way of using up scraps.
And then a couple out of net fabric. If you are making something similar for people in your life, I would go for a knit fabric. So that's what I'll do from now on. This one, I made just a plain black one as well, but I have to go in and fix a buttonhole on this one, so that's why I've still got pins and stuff in it. But yeah, nothing super fancy, but they take longer to cut out and apply the elastic than they do to put together. So
yep, and I'm sure she appreciates it.
Yeah, it's a lot of little pieces and curves, but it's a useful thing that I can do. So
yeah, absolutely.
I have no spinning, but I bet you do.
Oh, I do have spinning. It's not spinning that I finished spinning this week. It's spinning that was plied pre-SSK and has been sitting on bobbins, and so it had to be wound off, and it had
What is
to
it?
be...
What will be added to my stash?
Well, neither of these, actually.
Oh.
So, but I did get one. You've seen these before, too. I did get another version of Soot Sprite for you. So this is Soot Sprite by Tin Can Knits.
So pretty.
So
that's not Tin Can Knits.
Or not Tin Can Knits. Hip Strings. Thank you.
I was like,
Tin Can Knits.
I don't
on the
know
brain.
a lot, but they don't make fiber.
Yep. So Hip Strings does make gorgeous fiber, and this is some Hip Strings. It is 325 yards. It is a Shetland wool silk blend. It's a whole series that she's doing in different colors. So I have a red one to spin for Leslie, and then I also have another gray one to spin for Leslie. Yes. That I got at SSK Market. The name has changed a little bit because the color of gray has changed a little bit, but the Soot Sprite one is staying with me. And then the other thing is an alpaca silk merino blend from Inglenook. This is the Louisa May Alcott colorway, who was the author of Little Women. They did a whole author series, all with different alpaca blends, and this was around 175 yards of a 2-ply. Both of these are 2-ply. I have another 4 ounces of this, which is why you can't have it, because I don't think it's your style anyways.
I don't particularly love alpaca in general, just because you have to have the right thing for that drape.
Yep. And this is super drapey because it's both alpaca and silk.
Yeah.
So I have another 4 ounces, and I'm planning on knitting a shawl out of it because drape. So, yep, and it also has little silk tweedy bits in it as well. So all the silk this week, for sure. And none of the tags, because I can't find any of the tags that I have for them. Like, I wrote them. Where they are in my life, I don't know. Maybe Pearl ate them. Who knows? She did not eat them.
No.
She's a good girl in that way, that she does not.
You want to know when she's not
things.
a good girl?
When Leslie comes
when
over.
When she decides that I am either keeping her from doing something that she wants.
No, she just wants you to play with her full time.
Not petting / playing with her.
Yep.
She will look me directly in the eyes and do a single loud bark and wait until I yell at her, and then she'll do it again ad nauseum.
Yep. That is a true story.
Because she is a naughty, naughty girl.
Mm-hmm. And then Leslie will put treats in her toy, and then she'll promptly destroy it to get her treats.
Yes. Pearl isn't, so... I got this toy for Neelix when he was still alive, and it was like, it's one of those brain teaser puzzles for dogs, right? And so it's like you move these little squares around to find the treats. And that's what Neelix always did. Like, he was a little aggressive about it, but his goal was moving them.
Yep.
Pearl just, she gets her claws in there.
She moved it for the first couple times, and then she was like, I am a problem solver.
I can do this faster.
And so, yeah, she grabs it with her claws
and just
rips them out one by one.
I mean, I got to give her credit. She found a faster way.
Yep, so. She did. Which is every single one of those puzzle toys.
It's like making me cry. I'm laughing so hard.
Yep. She is the destructor of puzzle toys.
Let's see. What else?
But humans keep putting it back together for her.
I know. It's really a learned behavior. So I have been reading, I read This Vicious Grace by Emily Theda, which...
I totally misheard what you said. I heard This Fish is Grace.
Oh.
Like, there is a fish, and its name is Grace.
That would be a cool book's name, but no.
And I was like, that's an interesting title.
Which is kind of a YA-ish fantasy. I don't typically read YA, and I didn't realize this was before I started it, or I probably wouldn't have. Even though it's a good book, there's nothing wrong with it. I just have this internal prejudice against spending my limited free time reading YA books.
Books that are meant for 12 to 20-year-olds.
Yeah. I mean, again, nothing wrong with those books. I'm just... Anyway.
You're not the intended audience.
Yeah, exactly. And then I read Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater, which was an interesting premise. a young girl in the forest, encounters a fairy. He tries to steal her soul. The process gets interrupted because her friend stabs the fairy with an iron scissors. You know, the Fae folk can't tolerate iron, as we all know.
Or at least in this.
Right. In the commonly accepted Fae culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gets interrupted, so he only takes half her soul. And half of her soul that he takes are like her strong emotions. And so she's very like, I don't know the right way to say it. She doesn't feel anything strongly after that. But it's an interesting concept. So I read that. I liked it. I started some new book, but I can't remember the name of it, so I'll tell you next week. And I'm on the last book of the Rhaenyra Revelations. So book 9, audiobook is what I've been listening to. What about you?
I am rereading the Hidden Legacy series. I'm listening to it. So I am reading Burn for Me by Alana Andrews, which is an adult male-female urban fantasy.
Great series.
Yep. The 6th book in the series comes out tomorrow. Tomorrow, I believe. If not
Tuesday.
tomorrow, or it's next Tuesday, but I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow. And so I would think so. Yeah, it's gonna be tomorrow because I think next Tuesday is the 30th.
Because
So
the 31st is Wednesday. Yep.
Yep. I talked to my Starbucks folks today, and pumpkin spice lattes come out on the 30th.
Oh,
So that's exciting. That's exciting for me, not for you.
it has no impact on my life.
Yep. So, I think it's tomorrow. That drops, and also the new Patricia Biggs book drops. So, big book night, reading night tomorrow for sure. But yeah, I'm listening to that to try to get back into that universe before this new one comes out.
What other books is
yeah,
Alana Andrews putting out this year?
that's it.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
There's no more like Innkeeper or...
I mean, she's okay. So Innkeeper's going on now. As a
They do the weekly chapters or
Yep.
whatever.
on Fridays. So that's going on now. I don't know if it'll be published this year after it goes through revisions or not. They, as of right now, don't have any contracts to write books.
Oh, well, I mean, good for them.
Yep.
That they can do what they want. I'm thrilled about that. I'm sad that I won't have any guaranteed books coming out from them, but,
Yep.
you know.
But they get to write what they want
Exactly.
now. Yep.
That's good. I'm
So they
thrilled for them.
can play probably more with, I think the last one that came out, Julie's Story, I think that was
Mhm.
self-published. So they
Air
could
or
play
something.
more Blood's Air.
Yeah,
They can play more in that universe. And they can kind of
that's cool.
do what they want. There's manga version of Innkeeper that just came out.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Huh.
So, yep.
Fascinating.
So that is what's going on in their lives, according to their blog. They're the one blog, like author blog, that I get emailed to
Right.
me on a daily basis.
Back in the old days, children, you had a blog feed that you would check every day.
Yep. And that disappeared. So sometimes people still have it set up where you can subscribe. And sometimes it sends one, and then sometimes, like, it'll send one a week where it's a whole bunch.
Oh, a summary, yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, all the different ones that they written. It just depends. But yeah, that is what's going on in their lives. And Alana's been doing cross-stitch lately.
Aw.
And they've been doing a lot of home renovations. Which, okay, so this I had to Google that I learned on their blog. So in Texas and some places, you have to water the foundation of your house to keep, and then I was like, should I be doing this? It's in like super dry areas, because the soil will slowly pull away from the foundation of your house if you don't water it. And I was like, it's like, I literally had to like, am I an adult moment where I was like, no one told me about this. Should I be doing this? Kind of like no one told me that if it snows high enough to cover your like gas meter, you should unbury your gas meter because it can actually cause gas to back up in your house. Like,
I didn't know that, but that's not something I really have to worry about here.
yeah. When we had that big storm, and Texas had that big storm, people were actually suffocating in their houses because like carbon monoxide was backing up into their houses. So like, I need someone to write a book about like what adults should know when they buy houses.
There's a Reddit thread or group called Today I Learned.
Oh, yeah, but I just need it for like house stuff. Like, as an adult, like, I should know things like this. Like, who tells you that you should water the foundation of your house? I guess if you grow up in a dry area, you just know. Just like,
yeah.
But, okay, so your homework is to ask Alan if he watered the foundation of his house in Vegas.
Probably not, because they have such severe rations.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know what happens there. Like, that seems like that's dry enough that would cause an issue. I don't know. I don't know. It's a mystery.
I know
someone here is going to chime in.
They finally put in sanctions in Nevada, or at least in the Vegas area, where there are no new pools being built.
Oh, interesting.
Because of the whole Lake Mead / we don't have enough water thing.
They keep finding dead bodies in Lake Mead?
Yeah.
Yep. Because the water level is dropping everywhere. Yeah. I saw in Spain that there's like a Stonehenge that was covered when a river or some kind of water moved. It covered it in like 1950, and it's only been uncovered 3 times since then, and it's currently uncovered.
That's cool.
Yeah, it makes me think of Oh Brother Where Art Thou when they fled the town that was Arcabutla.
You've referenced that movie, I don't know, a dozen times.
Okay.
And
so you know the Lake Arcabutla.
I understand what happened with Arcabutla.
Yes.
I've never seen that movie.
It's the Odyssey. Like, the movie itself is a retelling of the Odyssey. Anyway, it's a good movie. You should see it.
You get Laura talking about books and stuff, and it's just...
I enjoyed it.
You gotta pull the ripcord, like... at some point.
It's a movie. I mean...
I know.
It's not...
But then you start talking about the Odyssey.
Yeah. I like the Odyssey. Anyway.
We do actually like each other. I know sometimes it comes across like we don't. But we do actually enjoy each other's company.
Now I have to get Leslie to watch Oh Brother Where Art Thou. It's good for the music.
It's got George Clooney in it, right?
Yes, and John Goodman. See, this is why I'm surprised that you haven't seen it, because you love John Goodman.
I always said
and it's got amazing music.
If there were a movie of my life, John Goodman would play my father.
Oh, yes. I could see that.
You know, very clear physical resemblance. Anyway, now we're just
Yep. Stash ends at the end of the month, so y'all have around another week. Yay! Best of luck that you hit the goals that you have set for yourself, because it is a competition against yourself.
Yep.
And I think that's about it. Thank you, everyone who's purchased things off my Amazon wish list. Y'all are amazing.
It's funny. I go into Laura's house and it's just like...
They're not anymore.
Towers
but yeah.
of little boxes.
It was like the last couple of weeks it has been.
Yeah.
But I've slowly... because I can only fit so much in my recycling bin. So I wait until it gets emptied today. And then I refill. But yeah. So thank y'all.
All right, well, you guys have an awesome week, and we will talk to you again next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.